Next presenter is someone that I actually met at the training for these groups, and he sat beside me, and we became best friends instantly. Gavin Bejaimal is a queer Caribbean gay man with a particular passion for gay men's mental and sexual health and art. He works at ACT as the Gay Men's Sexual Health and Harm Reduction Coordinator and enjoys reading, music, and supporting a holistic well-being. Welcome to the stage, Gavin.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. I am so unbelievably grateful for this opportunity to speak at this closing plenary. And I'm grateful for any opportunity to actually showcase my resilience as a gay man just by being and expressing myself confidently in a room full of my peers. So when I was 20, I came out as a queer man in my 4th year of university, which is a bit late in most cases, but probably early for some others. Unlike other gay men, that exact year after I came out, I was extremely fortunate to be siphoned into the gay men's health world. And I participated as in the Totally Outright program. And that was my first introduction into gay men's health. That's where I met Philip Banks, who I don't know if they're in this room right now. Perhaps not. But shout out to Philip Banks, because without him, I wouldn't have a job. So, at the time he was the executive director of the PLHIV/AIDS network, and I became the Gay Men's Health Promotion Coordinator there, where I will be highlighting some programs that I did at FAN. Particularly Totally Outright and the Wellness Series. So the first week I got my job at FAN, I ended up coming to this summit, and I got to meet Ryan Lisk, who is currently my manager at ACT, as I now work in Toronto as the Gay Men's Sexual Health and Harm Reduction Coordinator. So. And I must say, it's just this like a side point. It was extremely challenging being ushered into a community of such self-actualized, sex-positive, compassionate, and intelligent group of individuals across Canada, while still working through a lot of my own personal realities of trauma and internalized shame. However, it is through the connections I have made in my community, through the development of these programs, that I have worked through a lot of that and able to uncover my confidence as a gay man. So I'm super excited to talk about these programs. So where is Peel? So Peel is in. It's in the eastern end of Ontario, and it's close to, it's like the west side of Toronto, as indicated by this picture. So the context of Peel, Peel region is generally a suburban population with about 1.3 million people, and on the Canadian census, it says visible minorities as a way of describing people who are non-white in the in the region. But the amount of people who are non-white in the region are 62%. So visible minorities are in fact the majority in Peel, and then 73% in Brampton. So it's quite. Which indicates that there's so there's almost 150 plus ethnicities, and then also religions, so and different types of spiritualities. So there's complex needs there for a variety of people with variety of different contexts. So there's a needs assessment that had taken place. So I just want to highlight some of Peel's experiences. because they're unique to this racialized population. And it might be interesting to hear bits and pieces about like what needs were highlighted from this community, just so you can adapt it into your own world. So in regards to space, there is no, I have this on my phone, hold on. Sorry. Currently in Peel, there are no LGBTQ plus or gay clubs or nightlife due to there being rigid traditional and cultural conceptions of binary gender roles that is embedded within Peel. So there are little to no spaces where it's safe to like wear my dangling earring or wear this beautiful, lush, like comforting sweater. You would get eyed, or you would definitely possibly be told something. And this is almost ubiquitous around Peel. So no social settings, no means of accessing gay culture, and due to the nature of the suburbs, it's difficult for guys to connect because housing is spatially dispersed and it requires transit to move between places. That's the same on that, okay. So QT BIPOC stands for Queer, Trans, Black, Indigenous People of Color. And there's a QT BIPOC Mississauga group, which is a grassroots group that does arts-based programming dedicated to queer, trans, Black, Indigenous people of color. But beyond that, there are no spaces for people of color and queer focused as well. Also lack of cultural platforms to connect with spirituality and other forms of religion. So, you know, there's a lot of people who have, and this was mentioned yesterday through Raheem's presentation, that there's a lot of complex. Am I still? Is it still? Oh. So also there's a lack of services and spaces focused on healing and repairing wounds from intergenerational trauma and internalized racism and body image issues as well. So a lot of this was touched upon yesterday, and yes. So with regard to mental health, some of the issues, there is loneliness is a recurring theme. So if we think about syndemics, you have depression, anxiety, substance use, and these are co-occurring relating to risky sexual behavior. So that's like something that was brought up in the needs assessment. And then also folk are fearful of being outed as communities of colors are interconnected, so that there are a lot of people who might hear about like relatives who might hear from other people about someone's like sexual identity. So despite there being resources and programs that might focus on mental health, these sometimes focus, like I just did, on negative experiences. So people mentioned that rather than focusing on experiences that are negative, it might be more important to focus on the expanding qualities of resilience that might actually be more like supportive to their needs. And service providers are also not LGBTQ primarily in Peel. So folk have to educate their service providers on how to meet to understand their identity. Now to talk about those programs. So this is a program that we, this is a picture of the poster that we used to promote the program. And so it's an amalgamation of Vincent's work with the Loneliness Workshop, as well as with the TREE program facilitated by Daniel Pugh and Faith Chaput in the Sherburne Health Center. And that's the TREE stands for Trauma, Recovery, Education, and Empowerment. And it's a program intent on exploring coping strategies in support of mental health and building resilience around trauma. So I'll give you an example of the structure of the program. So the structure of the program included an arts-based activity, because that was mentioned as a huge component to how the like what people would like to benefit from. So what we did was a Broadening Horizons, which was a program that had a Navpreet, an individual, come in with little blank canvases, and people would have to think about an experience that of trauma in their life, and then they would have to write down a word associated with that trauma, and they would write it down in black onto the canvas, and then they would reshape that word with. After some time in a group session talking about the word that they chose, they would reshape that word in a color. And so they would use any color that they choose, and sometimes they would change the word, I think, like you have here, like stupid is changed to valued, or ugly to beautiful, or etc. There's like other examples there, but that's just an example of like what how art can be used, and I'd love to talk about more of that after in the Q&A maybe. And just that group sense, it engages the senses to reprogram our stories into new ones of resilience and strength. So the second program that I also did in Peel was Totally Outright, and because you likely know about this, I will skim through it more. And it's a peer-based model, encourages intergenerational learning, highly adaptable. So we got a lot of different types of people, as well as from Toronto, engaging with the resources there, as well as in Peel. I think it's Matthew Conte's in this room, perhaps not, but they did a workshop on body image. And this is a picture of some people doing some incredible sex-positive activities in Peel. So here there's an outline of a body, and they have to say which parts of the body that they find enjoyable in terms of their sexual experiences. And that is it's like really amazing to see like guys of color in Peel talk about sexuality and with each other in a way that is in a platonic setting, because of how difficult it is to explore sexuality and explore queerness in a region like Peel. And some feedback. So Totally Outright, they said they're more comfortable with their identity and creating sustainable relationships. Someone said, I finally made queer friends in Peel. Positive, I learned new things, made friends, and networked, creating valuable connections. It's made me reconsider my job path and role in the community, and provide me with connections and learning about different perspectives and ideas. So yeah, I don't know how good I was for time there. Not good. Okay. But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.